Hello?
Bill?
Hey, who can hear me?
I
Hey,
can.
Bill.
Hey, Diane. Hey, Cliff.
Hi,
How are
Bill.
you doing? How's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Your beard looks fantastic.
Why, thank you.
Nice. So,
What's
Scott,
happening?
not too much. Not too much. Hold on. I'm gonna.
Hi, Diane.
How do
Hi,
I?
how are you doing?
Good.
Oh, one person is waiting. Scott. Here we go.
Well, he's the man of the hour, right?
He is. He is the guest of honor today. So.
I fortunately normally have a meeting on Tuesday nights, but I actually, at the last minute, it got canceled.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're happy to have you. That's
I'm
awesome.
happy to be here, man.
How have you
Cliff.
been? Hey, Scott.
What's happening?
I'm trying to get it where everybody's thing is on.
Okay, so it says start my video.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, it's a little dark. Can you see me all right?
Yeah.
You need lighting in
Hey,
the
Scott.
front.
Oh, you're still at work?
Yeah, I'm at work. I'm doing this at work. It's me.
You need a light.
Awesome. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to start Joe post video.
Hey, Scott.
Cliff, how are you?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Great.
Hey, Joe
Nice
Po.
fish. Nice fishing lately, man.
What was that?
I said nice fishing lately.
Thank you. Loving it. Oh, man.
All right, good. So we got 9 minutes till we start. I think
Joe,
there's
how are
going to
you?
be. I think there's going to be some more people joining. So
Cool.
yeah, should be very cool.
Let me see if I can get some kind
Hey,
of
Joe.
better lighting going.
What's
Hey.
up, Joe Po?
What's up, man? How you doing?
How's it going?
Good. How you been?
Hold
Good.
on.
Good. You?
Hanging in.
Yeah. I hear you had
Exactly.
some arm trouble there, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
You doing all right?
I'm doing okay. It's getting there.
Yeah, she
Okay.
owed me $5, so I finally had to break her arm. That's what it was.
You know how those Tour de France riders are. They don't mess around, do
That's,
they?
I'm rough. I'm rough like that. There we go. I'm getting
This lighting
settled.
sucks in here. Oh, well.
You can be a man of mystery, Scott.
Yes, I am.
You need like a little
Yeah.
desk light or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my work light, but it's like brutal.
All right. So one person is waiting. Anthony. Admit Anthony. Here we
Cool.
go. Let's see. Let's get him asked to start video. I'm getting the hang of it. Diane, I don't know if I can make you like a co-administrator because like I'm working on that. I'm still learning how
Yeah,
to do
we
it.
have to figure that all out. It's
Yeah, I think-
complex.
I think for now it's going to be me doing it, but we'll figure it out.
Sounds good.
I think, or maybe for the next meeting, I'll have you sign in as me or something like that and do that. So then you'll be the administrator.
Whatever helps.
You should be able to assign her as a co-host from
Yeah, I got to figure it out.
your console.
Cliff, I was gonna use you. I was gonna name drop you as a good example of very identifiable and good tone.
Oh, thank
So-
you.
So there.
Why, thank you.
Look, my nose is getting really brown. No, I'm kidding. No,
Yeah,
really.
What, yeah,
really.
what do you got on your nose then?
I hope you don't mind. I'm going to anyway. So.
No, that's okay. I can use all the accolades I can get.
Have you been singing any?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I've been dealing with some medical shit.
Oh,
I had
Jesus.
prostate cancer, so I'm
Oh, no.
Oh.
yeah. I had prostate removed, and now it came back. So I got to go for radiation.
Oh, good Lord.
Lovely shit.
Oh, you had to have your prostate completely removed?
I had it removed in January, and then
Wow.
it started to come back again. So I'm starting Tuesday, 40 radiation sessions
Oh, geez. Now, where is
Yeah.
that?
in Mount Sinai. I got to drive to the city every day.
Oh, so that was why you said you posted that thing about finding a place in the city.
Right. I was thinking about moving into
Sure.
the city for
Yep.
a couple of months, but I'm just going to drive in early every morning and hopefully
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
glow
when-
in the dark.
You know what? When my dad was going in for treatments, he used to just take like a car service in.
That's what
You
I think
know?
I might do. I'll see how beat I get, and at
Yeah.
some point, I might just like find a guy that I know who drives Uber or whatever, and he'll have a solid 8 weeks of a gig,
Exactly.
you know?
Yep. Exactly.
I'm catching it pretty early. Hopefully everything will be all right.
Good.
Good
Yeah,
luck
good,
with that.
because isn't that
Yeah.
like that's one of the ones where they can. Oh, nice. This is my buddy Ed from Baltimore. Ed,
Yeah.
how are you, buddy? Hold on. He has to start video.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Hey,
Dennis.
Dennis, how are you?
Good.
Ed,
How's everybody
Ed,
doing?
how are
Okay?
you?
Good, doing good.
Good to see you, guys. This is my buddy Ed from Baltimore.
How's
Hi,
everybody
Ed.
doing?
Yeah,
How are you, Ed?
Ed has a killer band called Fast Eddie and the Slowpokes.
Oh, it's
Nice.
too sweet.
That's a
Too
great
sweet.
name.
Yeah, dude, they do it right, and they play at this awesome place. It was super cool, and I went to. We still have 5 minutes, so we can bullshit a little bit. So I went down there for business, and I found this thing, and actually it was from talking to Ed on Facebook, right? That I found out
Uh-huh.
about where you were going to be.
That's right.
So I go there, and then so I'm waiting for Ed to get there, right? And I'm sitting there like having food. This guy comes up to me who I don't know at all and goes, "Are you William Lifford?" And I was like, "Why I am." He recognized me from the Modern Blues Harmonica Forum.
Nice.
I was like, "That's
Oh,
the
wow.
craziest thing in the world." So
You're
yeah,
infamous. You're infamous.
yeah. That was that guy Charles, right? The tall, skinny guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's see if I can ask.
I'm not gonna be able to hold on too long. I'm gonna
Okay.
at 8 o'clock. I got a commitment, but I'm gonna. If you guys should still go, maybe I'll come on after
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm asking people to start video. Hold on. Oh no, here we go. Who's this? Ryan, you there? Can you hear
Yeah,
us? Hey, is this Ryan Hart?
it is.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming aboard.
My son's game was canceled, so here I am. Thank God.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. I don't know. Your video's not connecting. For some
Hold
reason.
on. Oh, you know what it is?
What's
Boop, I
that?
got my little slider.
There
Oh,
you
there
go.
we go.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Hi.
All right.
All right.
Nice. So some of you guys will know Ryan because he came and played at our band's fundraiser when we were going down to Memphis. Ryan's had a band called Ryan Hart and the Blue Hearts for many years, and now he plays around all over around Connecticut and New England and stuff like that. And I'm bringing up Artie now, and we got 3 minutes till showtime. Ask to start video. This is hard work running this thing.
Try doing it with
Hey, wait.
13-year-olds.
Most
Why
big-
you're
Yeah,
high-
oh my God. Yeah, now you have to do you have to do this for your classes?
I did we didn't do really a lot of actual full real-time class instruction in the spring.
Yeah. Yep.
But my school's been full in school.
Oh, okay.
But each class I've got like 3 or 4 kids online.
Oh, okay.
What
But we
grade-
just got an
what
email
grade
today
level?
that we're remote for the next week and a half.
What
So,
grade level
Oh,
do you
okay.
teach, Ryan?
8th grade.
Okay, I'm a preschool special ed teacher.
Oh,
we're
wow.
all Zoom,
Yeah.
all Zoom all the time.
A middle
Very good.
school special ed teacher.
Oh, welcome
Nice.
to
We
the
have,
tribe.
we have the wall of
What's up?
education on the bottom.
Yeah.
Charlie.
What's up,
Very
Bill?
good. Hey, what's up, my man? So we're 2 minutes till showtime. I just we'll give everybody else a chance to get settled and get in here. This is a pretty good turnout so far.
Great.
So good. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
many people are in?
So far we're including me. There's 12 on here right now. Wait, 1, 2, 3. No, excuse me. There's 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Sorry, I'm a moron. But
You're so hard on yourself.
yeah, this is very complicated. Nice.
I'm on my
So-
phone. I'm usually on my laptop for this kind of thing, but
Yeah, one other guy just
It is
tried to
in use
sign up,
right
and I
now.
think he got booted off. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him, but we'll see. All right, 7:28. We'll go just a little bit, and then. So I'm trying to think who else. Okay, so you guys, I'll just introduce some of you guys, right? So, hold on. Here's Arnie trying to get back in. Arnie, let's admit him. And Arnie asked to start video. So I don't know. Maybe he's in a shady area or something. Oh, good. I think he's connected. Hey, Arnie,
What's up, brother?
how are you? Welcome aboard.
Hey, man,
Swig.
I'm here.
Oh, and here's Vince. Hold on. Look at this. We got people coming in.
Cool.
Okay, hold on. Vince says joining. This is good. All right. It says joining, but he's like stuck in limbo. But hopefully it works. All right. All right. 1 minute, Scott.
Okay.
1 minute warning. Hold on.
Can I take a minute to tell Ryan how much I really like his work?
No, not at all. You can't do that
Right.
at all, Ed. Totally.
No, I really, I've been a fan for a long time. Down
Same
here.
here, man. Same here.
Thank you.
You know, that's what I actually think that this is between Facebook and the internet and all that, it's the greatest thing because I've gotten to know people that play harp from all over, so all right, it is 7:30. So Vincent is still attempting to join the meeting. I don't know what his deal is. So let's kick it off. So first of all, welcome to the first meeting of the Long Island Blues Society's Blues Harmonica Guild.
Yeah,
So
man.
This actually, this whole thing was Diane's idea. Diane had come up with, there's a harmonica club on Long Island, but it has always been a little more geared towards the harmonica bands of the 40s and that kind of like old timey music. And Diane had said, you know what, we really should have something that's dedicated purely to blues and can go hardcore into it. So she had mentioned that to the president of the Blues Society at the time. And then he was like, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's run with it. And so we're so thrilled to finally get it going. So welcome to our first meeting. Vince, hold on. Let's get him connected. Ask to start video. Yeah. So everybody, today's presenter is going to be Scott Micchiche. Now, I will tell you about Scott real quick. When I was first starting to learn to play harmonica, I was like 18 years old, right? I used to go all the time to this place in Huntington called Mother McGee's, and it was a jam session every week. And that's basically where I learned to play. And one guy that would come down once in a while and would just fucking tear it up was Scott. And so Scott has always been a guy with a great sound and great chops and been a great player that I've always admired as a player. And then over the years, we grew a real good friendship. It turns out he lives right around the block from me almost. And so I'm really pleased to introduce to you today, Scott Micchiche, who's going to do our very first lecture.
Yeah, Scotty.
Hey, good evening.
Scott.
How are you? Sorry about the lighting. I had to do this from my workshop.
Are you in the witness protection program?
Yes, I am. Anyway, before I start, I just want to say, initially we were going to do like a half an hour where I was just going to speak, but now I see there are definitely some heavy hitters here. So what I'd like to do is I'll talk about the topic and then please chime in or ask any questions as you go. And this is only my opinion as far as harmonica goes. So here we go. I decided to call the presentation "The Horse Before the Cart," because my mom always used to say to me, "Putting the cart before the horse." And I think as far as harmonica goes, and all of the forums that we're probably all on now, you see a lot of focus on amplification, and guys are like so hung up on getting the best boutique amp, and they buy this one, then oh, that doesn't work, then they buy another, oh, that doesn't work. The same thing with vintage mics, and now I'm sure you've all seen now they're going for like $350, $400, $450. You got to be kidding me.
Sure.
I mean, it is important, but really what I want to talk about is just your pure acoustic tone, and how really, if you have the best amp and you have the best mics, it's not going to really sound that good unless you have the chops. So the first thing I want to say is, what do I mean about acoustic? And basically, to me, it's like just your pure sound by yourself. Everyone obviously knows about like playing acoustic off the vocal mic. It's the way I feel about that is you can add all your hand effects into it, but if you don't have good sound, good tone, and good technique, it's still not going to really sound good. So I think the thing about playing amplified is that if you don't have your chops down, it's just going to amplify that. Like Jerry Portnoy said, garbage in, garbage out. And I think he was right on the money with that. And I know myself, for years and years, I've been through so many amplifiers and spent thousands of dollars, and it's been a learning process. And obviously, everyone is still learning and at their own level. But as I've grown as a player, I've come to realize that. And one thing I notice is that I'm playing my amplified sound is tending to get cleaner and cleaner. I'm using less drive, less distortion, less effects. And I think the way you can relate it is to, if you listen to all the great players, you know, they always say about Kim Wilson, like he could play through anything. He could play through a tin can and he would still sound great because he's got incredible technique. And William Clark. And the thing about those players is that their tone is so good and they've developed like their own unique sound. And when you hear them, whether they're amplified or acoustic, you immediately know who's playing. Paul DeLay would be one example. He had really unique style. James Cotton, I was listening to James Cotton today playing the Creeper from his band from the 70s, and they were a kick-ass band. But he, as his career went along, he got, his tone became so powerful that he put away the amplifiers and the JT30s and the bullet mics, and he started playing through. You know which kind of mic it is. It's a Shure. I think
585.
What was that?
I believe it's a 585. It's got a big
585. Some came with volume controls.
Yes.
As I'm watching him today, I'm like, he's playing that mic straight into the PA, and he's getting such a powerful tone that it's like on the edge of being amplified. I know some of the old PA systems were not quite as advanced as the ones we have now. They basically replicate your sound perfectly. Who else did I notice about? William Clark was another one. Like, I used to go to see him at Manny's, and he played amplified. But I think as he advanced in his technique, I think one point I want to make is that it doesn't matter how old you are. Like, somebody we know, who I'm not going to mention, told me like 20 years ago, he said, once you hit 40, that's it, you're done. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, you don't stop with this. I mean, right now.
That's when I picked up the harp.
But it doesn't
I didn't
matter.
pick one up till I was 40.
Yeah, but everyone is at their own pace and on their own timeline. But William Clark, as he advanced, like, I saw some later footage of him in I think it was live in Germany, and he was playing through a vocal mic straight into the PA predominantly. And I think another reason why too is because he started playing chromatics like F and G chromatics that are pretty low. It's tough to pick up one harp like a C or a D or a B flat and get a good sound out of your amp, and then pick up one of those chromatics. You really have to dial in your sound, and I'm sure he didn't want to mess with that. So I think for me, I've been through this whole thing. You know what I mean? It's like I said, I spent so much money on amps and effects and the perfect gear, and then I just started to realize that it's really all in here. It's your sound, and the better and the more confident you feel and the more technique you have and the better that you start to play just acoustically, that when you pick up the Harp mic again, you know, after, like, there were times I just put the amplifier away. I'm like, I'm just going to go back and just start playing acoustically again. That the net, you know, after a month I picked up the mic and played through the amp. It was like huge difference, you know. It really makes a difference to work on your acoustic tone. Some things that for me that I learned to practice was to, like, stop trying to emulate every song that you hear and you want to play to, and you actually go after the song and all you're doing is trying to imitate it. When Little Walter had like this incredible technique and tone. So I think the key to playing Little Walter before the amplification is to be able to get some of those techniques down. I think I started out as like a lip purser, and I was always trying to get that, you know, that sound. Like, how are they getting that intonation? And then I think what actually made me start to tongue block was that I picked up the chromatic. And it was, for me, it was easier to start octave splits on a chromatic. And then I transferred it to the diatonic. I actually had a really hard time getting single notes, but I was able to get the octaves. So from there, I just kind of kept working on it. But I don't, I know a lot of guys block 100% all the time. I don't do that. Just, it's not that I can't. I mean, I'm sure if I really, really, really wanted to do it and worked at it constantly, I could, but I kind of like to have like the whole bag of tricks available. I think there's some things you can do lip purse that you can't do tongue block. Like I heard Magic Dick interviewed by David Barrett, and it was really interesting because David Barrett asked him about his tongue blocking, and Magic Dick said that recently that he had gone back to lip pursing because he said he was able to get some intonation on the harp that was similar to like to playing a trumpet. And I kind of went, yeah. And I'm sure some of you have seen on the forum, someone made a comment about Kim Wilson at a Joe Falisco. What is it? Was it a Joe Falisco event? Bill, did you see?
Where he said now he puckers for some things and he tongue blocks for others, and he doesn't do it exclusively. I had been trying to bend tongue blocked for a while, and I found that I mean, I can physically do it, but I can't do it in the context of actually playing. Like I can do it if I sit down and do it, but I can't do it in any sort of musical way. And I find that I've, you know, at almost 50 years old, I've been playing like 32 years now. So I find that I don't know that I'm ever going to be somebody that can do it exclusively one way. I switch back and forth so many times in every phrase, and it's, you know, I don't get hung up on it at all. You know, I switch effortlessly, you know, and certainly I don't think I'm, you know, like somebody like Joe would say, oh, but you can do so many things so much faster if you never have to change your embouchure. But I haven't found that to be the case at all. And I've been trying for about 2 years. So, you know, I know that I know some people swear by it, and other people, I just don't see it as being a realistic or viable option for a lot of people. And I don't think that they should get too hung up on it, you know?
I think the tongue blocking thing is like a badge of honor to a lot of dudes. Like, oh yeah, I tongue block everything. Yeah. Like, well,
I totally agree. It's like those guys that play everything with a million overblows, like just because they could do it. And meanwhile, it would sound 1,000 times better if they played it on a saxophone instead. you know?
Yeah, I think I tongue block. I can bend tongue block. It just depends on what I want to play and how I want it to sound. But do both, or do whatever works for you. But knowing both certainly helps.
Right, Brian. I've heard your chromatic playing, and it was incredible. I think a place in Connecticut. You were there, I think last year. But do you block? I mean, obviously you have to block on chromatic.
I tongue block, the 5-hole octaves on chromatic probably 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play a lot of single notes on chromatic. Somebody like Rick Estrin will play some single note stuff. Rod Piazza, most of his stuff is all octaves. The Little Walter is all the 4-hole fake octave stuff. And then, that's a whole nother deal is when to tongue block and when not to tongue block on the chromatic. But
you know what? Actually, I know, because I know most of you. There's some people I'm just meeting here on the first time. So, like, I would say, for example, Arnie and Vince, right? Are you guys familiar with tongue blocking as an embouchure, meaning a way your mouth interfaces with the harmonica? Have you guys dealt with that before?
I do not. I'm brand new. You know that. So I'm learning. I'm going to read up on it as soon as we're done here, but not really.
All right. I'll talk to you about it in Messenger. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll message you after this and I'll show you some tricks. Okay. But basically, when we talk about tongue blocking, for the most part, I have an A harp here. It's you would cover 4 of the holes with your mouth, and then your tongue would come down on 3 of them, and then leaving only the 1 left to make a note, right? So if you have your mouth over 1, 2, 3, 4, low, you slap that tongue down, and then you just get the 4 draw note out of the side of your mouth. So that is one of the ways that, and you can do it on the draw too. You can do it all the way up the harp. And that's one way that, a lot of people that are proponents of it will say that you get a bigger, fuller sound because the sort of tone chamber in your mouth is bigger and more relaxed, and it's not as constricted as when you're puckering to make a single note. But like I said, that's something that it takes a little while to work on. I'll get in touch with you after. Okay,
yeah,
bud?
Man. Yeah, man.
There are some that claim that that they really want you to start out on harmonica. David Barrett's courses, he really pushes the whole tongue blocking thing from the very beginning, which.
Why is that like I just want to ask something. Is tongue blocking like a major thing? Is it something that
it's a huge
is it a major? Is it like a long roll for a drummer? Is it a major thing?
I would say this. For a long time I could play a lot of things with a puckered embouchure, but I always wondered why it lacked a little something. Like I couldn't figure out what it was. Why did what I play not sound like Big Walter Horton, And when you learn to do that, when you learn to take that tongue and slap it down, you get just that little ghost of the chord. It winds up making this slightly percussive sound when you do something. And then, by the way, because I have the microphone thing on my earpiece, am I blasting you guys when I do that?
No, you're good.
Not
Okay.
at all.
So if I were to do that, I could, I'll just say, let's take a very basic riff on the 3 and the 4, If you do that puckered, you hear the clear single notes,
Different.
and it's, but if you tongue block that, I would go. So do you hear the difference between that?
More full.
Exactly.
Much,
it gives you like this little rasp thing before, and then you can learn to use that as a percussive element when you're playing. Like even if you're going to play just campfire-y, old-timey stuff, you can use that tongue blocking to create a beat, you know, and you can do a lot of stuff with that.
If you hear what Bill's doing, he's basically he's using his tongue, actually. He's slapping his tongue on the harp to articulate that last passage on the harp, which is another thing that really, where tongue blocking really is key. Also, I'll give an example of what a split sounds like. This to me is another reason why. Actually, I think it's easier to start blocking with this technique.
That's
And
the first thing I
you're
blocked.
You're playing notes on both sides of your tongue. That it gives you an octave, it gives you a chord, but you're not just. So it'll who was asking about that Gary Primich passage that he did, where he starts out with that, with the octave split, but then he moves his tongue over and he kind of goes from that to a single note, but he kind of slurs it, and it's a really cool effect. He was a monster.
I'm gonna ask you a stupid question. Do you guys look for the hole with your tongue, or do you just learn to get away from that as you practice more?
Yeah, you won't have to do that eventually.
Like I was telling Bill, like I had the hardest time switching to block the lower notes. I just still have that's something that I'm still working on, you know. So, but what I found is you can still get a blocked effect, but I just moved my tongue to the right here at the end of the harp. So you're still really getting So I'm actually blocking. I don't know if that's traditional blocking technique or if it's okay. I mean, I'm cheating.
Now, Scott, one of the things, for example, that I've always admired about your playing, as somebody that's seen you on and off for 20 years or so, is the depth and quality of your vibrato when you play.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So maybe you could talk a little bit about the different ways you do that and then give us some examples of that.
I mostly use throat vibrato the majority of the time, but lately I've also been working on it's like a mouth vibrato.
So meaning like
apparently Big Walter Horton would use that once in a while. It's really subtle, but to me it's like, I was going to say that too. I was going to talk about how key vibrato is to getting a good sound. But it's not just in harp. It's in any instrument. It's singers, any instrument. It's a sweet sound comes, I think, from that. One thing I had to do was I found myself doing it too much. Does that sound bizarre?
Oh, like no, I know exactly what you mean.
And it actually was hard to like stop doing it all the time.
It became a natural part of your notes.
Yeah, just to play that natural note and not always put vibrato on it. And then I had to kind of like back.
I heard Ronnie Shellis mention something like that he had to learn how to stop doing it too.
Yeah. So
it takes, I mean, from my point of view, as a guy on a much, earlier stage in my journey, it's something that you spend so much time learning how to do, and then it sort of starts to become natural. It's hard to unlearn it. It's one of those things that almost kind of the muscle memory takes over too much.
Right. So I had to kind of taper off on that, but. So I think most of it is like it's actually from here, but it's all I can say about it is like, for me, I found like I'm ADD. So if I just start playing, I like move. If I find something that I'm having a problem with, I move away from it. So I finally got to a point where it was like, okay, if I want to learn something, and it's the only way I really learn well, is to just keep repeating it, repeating it, repeating it, repeating it. Like when I was saying about jam, you can practice to jam tracks and just work on one technique and just do it over and over and over again until you got it down. It's muscle memory. And I really believe that. And plus, like Bill has turned me on to some really cool jam tracks. It's a lot of fun. No one's there listening to you. If you have like, this shop is great because I can jam here after hours. And like I said, I kind of stopped doing William Clark tunes, you know. His technique was at, how does he does that like, it sounds like vibrato when he does it, but he does that like that upper octave split, but it sounds like one note and it starts to do this, like, you know what I'm talking about? You have to really have an amplifier too to do it, but
Part of that is the octaves being a little bit out of tune, so you get some beat between the octaves.
Well, see, at Manny's, he used to flip the harp upside down and do that.
I know he
would play the high end in reverse, and you'd really hear the detuning, like Ryan just said. He'd have that pulsing.
He played it backwards.
So that's what it was, Ryan. It was to kind of.
Yeah, it's just play. You know, a lot of guys will tell you, "Oh, yeah, you got to play with a lot of, use a little bit of breath. You know, you don't have to blow hard. But if you blow hard, which I blow pretty hard on chromatic and diatonic, then you're blowing so hard that the reeds kind of go out of tune.
Right.
And you get that cool. You know, you can overdo it.
Right.
But if you do it right, I don't know. I like my octaves to be pretty close in tune. So I just grabbed a F here. So let's. You can hear that on the.
Yep.
The beginning of that attack there.
Yep.
Let's see what else I got.
Yeah, and through an amp that would be magnified.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The harmonics.
I don't know, mine are pretty in tune.
But yeah, and you're right though. I mean, I've heard some guys that use that like are constantly putting that technique in there, but if I don't know, if the amp settings are wrong, it kind of like goes right through me. I'm like, But William Clark, the way he did it was just, he was a monster. He really was. But Cliff, I was at Manny's, like, I think I saw him 3 times. The last time I saw him, the next day I had no voice. That guy freaking knew how to work. He wouldn't go home and was still playing.
Yeah.
Yep. I think he had Zach playing guitar with him at that time too, and that guy was monstrous.
So now, Scott, the other vibrato you said you were doing with your mouth, right? Is that from dropping your jaw? Like, because I find I can't do a good throat vibrato at all. So one of the things I do to cheat is I'll do one with dropping my jaw, you know, and I'll get a.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who the guy is. He's from Great Britain. He does a lot of instructional videos. Really good player.
Oh, Lee Sankey, the bald guy.
He was talking about that vibrato technique, and it's actually, to me, it's almost like it's almost bending, but real subtle. You know what I mean? But it's like a controlled bend.
Mm-hmm.
That's all in my mouth. That's not.
Now do it up against the other type so we can hear the difference.
I'm still working on it. It's hard to control it.
Yep.
It's hard.
Another cheat that I've heard of, aside from the mouth vibrato and the throat, is I was reading. It was an old instructional book from the 60s, but the guy said you basically like articulate like a yo 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 like that, and that can sort of give you like a simulated. It's not true vibrato, I don't think, but you're just doing an articulation. It's not really coming from deep in your chest, and it's not coming from just dropping your jaw. So that's another option to kind of give another variation on vibrato.
Yeah, I've heard that called a chewing vibrato or stuff
Yeah.
like that. I do that a lot on bent notes. So like on
Oh,
an
okay.
I find it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I find that hard to do tongue blocked. Tongue blocked, I always have to go throat. But if I'm lip pursing, that definitely is a little easier. It's it's like a little bit of a bend.
Cliff.
Bill, I got to cut out. I don't want to interrupt anybody when they're talking. But you're recording this, right?
Yes.
This is good stuff. So it's been a pleasure meeting everybody.
Well, listen, come see us again because we're going to be doing this once a month. We're going
Wonderful.
to next month. I'm going to be doing like a basic first vocabulary for first position blues harp because and then in
That's
December we have Ken Korb is going to come and do train rhythms and chugging patterns, and so like we're going to have a lot of good stuff, man. We're gonna really have we're gonna make this a nice reference for people. Since there's really not too much in the way of gigs going on, we're trying to share the knowledge while we can,
Right.
But thanks for joining us, Ed. We'll talk later.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Have a great night.
Thank you. So
His band is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, his band is Fast Eddie and the Slowpokes, and they do real good, greasy vintage blues, and sometimes they back up some of the guys that come through Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
yeah, definitely a good band. And who plays with them sometimes is Mark Stutzo, the drummer for the Nighthawks. Like he's good friends with them, so he'll play with them a lot.
Wow.
So, but yeah, super nice guys. In Baltimore, there's a whole scene of there's a lot of good blues musicians in Baltimore. It's really nice. I went down there.
It's down into that Piedmont kind of blues area.
Well, it's funny. They have like a whole bunch of things, regular, Chicago blues. They have a ton of people that like it. It seems to do better than on Long Island,
That's not saying much.
So yeah, exactly. I know.
I'm sorry. Don't mean to.
I like back in the late 80s and early 90s, I was a huge Nighthawks fan. I mean,
yeah, they're great.
Killer. But they were kind of on the rock side. I mean, I thought they I think that's why they crossed over. They had a big biker following. But I think Mark Wenner is an excellent harp player. So anyway, I wanted that's another thing. I mean, I wanted to talk about like bending. Like the other day I was playing. I'm like, man, I've gotten sloppy with my bending. So for me, it was like just going. I think sometimes just going back to basics and just hitting those bends accurately, you know what I mean? And in time. I don't know. I think I was kind of blessed with really good timing because I started out in elementary school on drums. I played drums for like 5 years. So I always find my toe is tapping in time. So, but to me, it's like, just trying, and one thing I found, I'm like just starting to do overblows. I actually just picked up a custom harp from Rick McCormick. Decided he wanted to start making his own custom harps, and I mean, here I'll show you this thing real quick. He took a marine band, and he got a Zajac comb. He does this brush thing on the cover plates. So it looks like stainless steel. He put 4 screws and nuts on the cover plates. He opens up the back, and I mean, he does really nice work, and it was not expensive at all. He posted it on Harp Gear for about $100, and I'm like,
Rick McCormick, did you say?
yeah.
Oh, he's
So
he's all over the harp forums and stuff. I think I've gotten a couple of mics from
He
him.
sells a lot of mics and amps. And
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah, I've been off of those things for a little while, but I remember him.
You need to stay off that.
It's not good for me
It's
mentally or
dangerous.
financially.
Well,
Yeah, I
that's
was gonna say,
It takes a mental and financial toll. It's
Yeah.
all on me.
trust me, I've been through that too, Like I keep some amps up here that Renee doesn't know about. So
Well,
I swear to
but
God.
Scotty,
I have a
Scotty,
quilt. I got a
like
quilter.
Like you said, and once again on a completely, totally different level, I've gotten to the point where I just don't want to chase anymore. I just want to work on my own things and my own tone, and no amp or piece of gear is going to be any kind of magic solution to that.
Mhm.
You know, and that's, I think, the basis of what this is
Guilty.
all about is acoustic tone. I mean, I hardly ever practice amped anymore, you know, occasionally, but just to, you know, work on mic technique and stuff like that. And I love playing that way, but I've gotten so much better results just practicing acoustically and working on my acoustic tone.
Right.
Well, my love for it came from the fact that I really just can't play amplified in my house ever. It just drives everybody crazy and they hate it. So, you know, and of course I play in the car all the time. And that was how I learned to play. I learned to play literally with an old Sony Walkman on my head. I used to walk to class instead of taking the bus in college. And I used to just woodshed the harp and I'd walk, you know, I'd probably walk 6, 7 miles a day and play harp the whole time. And now I play, you know, of course, driving or whatever. But you know, that's I grew to love acoustic playing from that, you know. So, and now I've been hanging out with Ken a little bit, and Ken is so skilled at acoustic stuff that you know, we're gonna have him do a couple lectures over the time that we do this. And yeah, he's a really good resource, you know. It's gonna be a great thing for us. He's a nice guy. But yeah, I mean, I've never practiced amplified because I just don't have the ability to in a house where, you know, I'm the only real blues lover in the house, you know, so I don't really have a lot of ability to mess. That's why I don't like a lot of pedals, because I can't play around with them, you know, to get them the way I want them. So I just want to plug into the amp and go, because that's how it is for me to gig. Like when I set up, that's the only time that I have to adjust anything. Like I don't know how anything, you know, like I don't really ever know how to adjust my amp all that good, because I don't do it at home and I don't practice it. It's always when I'm setting up for a gig and I have a sort of a time limit on it.
Yeah.
So,
That's why the Megatone is such a great amp, because you don't have to,
oh, dude, it made my life a lot easier.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's no reason to really go in any other direction.
Yeah.
I don't practice with an amp, but I do practice with an unplugged mic.
I've done
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah. To
Yeah.
hold on to it.
That is cool. What do you find, Ryan, what's the advantage of that? Is it just,
You know, 90% of my playing on a gig is with a microphone in my hand. So why not practice that way?
That's true. You can practice something without a mic in your hand and then you're on stage and it feels totally different.
So
Well,
when I was a kid, I would come home. You know, I started playing when I was 12. I would come home from school and I'd eat a sandwich and watch a half-hour cartoons. And then I didn't get an amplifier until I was 16, I guess. But my parents worked until, you know, I was home alone in the afternoon. So my early years, I was wailing on an amplifier and it was pretty sweet. But since moving into my own apartment at age 21, yeah, I don't practice amplified. Even though, you know, even now when the kids are gone or whatever, it's like too much work to plug in an amplifier. But since I, you know, there's tons of broken mics around here, so I've used this old blues blaster. You can see the XLRs popped out. I sold the Element to somebody, but that's what I practice with.
You know what? You're right. The one that I have that I do that with, it doesn't have an element in it at all. It's an empty shell. And it sounds kind of cool. It sounds like playing into like a coffee cup or something.
I was gonna say like a harp wah or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds kind of resonant. Like it is kind of fun. I do that. But yeah. So Scott, let's hear some examples of some stuff you do to loosen up and get ready for playing and all that.
oh, that's a good point, because I swear to God, if I can't practice before a gig, I get like, I don't know why, it's still to this day, I just get butterflies really bad. So to me, if I can loosen up, I love it. Where's that place in Oyster Bay? It's like, what's the name of it? It's a restaurant bar, and then they have the stage. Like, does anyone know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know
Homestead,
any
I
of
think.
them.
Stage like off to the side, like big sliding glass doors.
Yeah, Homestead, I think.
It's the Homestead. I just happened to be there like about a month ago or something like that, and it was very quiet. But they said that a lot of bands, and it's like there's a big outside courtyard, and then the band is kind of in this area that's half inside, half outside.
Yeah, but you come through when the band doesn't load in through the front off Main Street. It loads in through the back.
Right. They were
And
mentioning that.
there's this really cool like corridor that you go through, and the acoustic sound in there is unbelievable. So I just was thinking about that today. Like I warmed up in there for like half an hour, and I was like, why didn't the band set up in here? It sounds freaking great, you know?
Bathrooms always sound good.
But I don't know. I like to do like rhythmic stuff just because it kind of gets me in the mood. So I kind of. Just that kind of boogie woogie thing, you know?
Get a little swing, a little rhythm going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, you know, it's funny. That's what I feel like people should be doing when
Mhm.
they test amps, like online. When people just test amps, they just like wail on something and they
Yeah.
don't do it with any rhythm or timing or anything.
I
And
know.
so that's why I always feel like that should be different.
Yeah.
You know?
But also I like to, I'm not great about like always checking the tuning on my harps. But another reason that playing those octaves is you can check the tuning pretty quickly. You know, you kind of after a while your ear can hear it. You don't really need a chromatic tuner. You know, so you're playing one end of the octave against the other, and if you'll like Ryan said, you'll hear that beating. If something is out of tune, you'll be able to hear that. Andrew Zajac calls it like beating when it's not, when the one reed in comparison to the other is off a little bit. So I like to just go. I go, it's close enough, you know. I mean, if you hear while you're gigging, if you hear a note is like a little off, you can actually kind of compensate for it. But yeah, I'm pretty like warming up before I get really hung up about like if I can't practice a little bit prior to a gig, I just get like really squirrely, you know. Then I need an extra shot of tequila.
That's what the first song is.
Well, that
for me
goes
when
without
we
saying.
play.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know though. It's like what is gigging? We're lucky enough that Bill asked Blue Roots to do a gig at the warehouse, but
On Thursday,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. For those of you who are on Long Island, yeah,
I'll be there.
yeah, it's
Cool.
going to be every Thursday. They're going to have blues night at the warehouse, and it's a really big place with a really wide stage, and
Yeah, there's plenty of room in there.
yeah, and it's it's set up to everything to be distanced properly, you know, and even the musicians on the stage can be distanced properly. But yeah,
Kevin's
Blue
gotten
Roots
hit
is
at a
going to be
couple of his other
playing.
places too, so he's being super careful.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like, they closed Prohibition for a while, and I know he's being really careful at Farrell's too. So I'm sure he's being super, super careful at the warehouse, and there's plenty of space there. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
no.
yeah. I can't believe how rude you are, dude. It's
I know I'm an asshole. I'm such an asshole.
Ryan,
Seriously.
in Connecticut, I was up in Litchfield last weekend. I was up in Litchfield last weekend, and it seems like they're being pretty cautious about the COVID thing too. I mean,
Yeah, we're being pretty good about it, I guess. I haven't played in Connecticut since this whole deal started. There's one place I play. It's a house band, and they have rotating guests every Wednesday in Cranston, Rhode Island.
mhm.
And that's been going since August, but they've got plexiglass down in front of the band. And then last time I've done it twice. Last time there was plexiglass on the sides, and they limit the people in. So it's probably the safest indoor thing I've been to as far as music, but it's also the only indoor thing I've been to. There's a place, speaking of Litchfield County, a place up in I can't remember exactly where, but in the northwest corner, that's a real bucket of blood roadhouse, and you know, it's not the greatest place when there is a pandemic. They're the only place having blues bands right now on Sundays, and bands are playing outside for now, but eventually I'm sure they'll be inside.
Yeah, time's running out on that.
Yeah, that's really the only place that has live blues right now, and if it's not outside, I ain't going inside in that place, because I'm sure there's not a lot of science believing mask wearing folks in that place.
I hear you.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
But there's a rundown motel right behind, so if you want to get some crack, I'm sure you can get some crack there.
There you go.
It's nice. Added bonus.
What part? What,
Yeah.
I just,
Little travel tip for you.
Yeah.
but anyway, back to I think like to practice. For me, it's like I had to learn how to just like practice a certain technique and just stick to it. You know what I mean? And just work on that. Because otherwise I just start playing no direction. I think another thing that really helps me out a lot too is sometimes I'll put on is it BB King's blues station on Sirius?
Oh yeah, Bluesville.
And I'll just listen to whatever song, and I'll just try to. The first thing I'll do is try to pick the harp out, you know, without knowing what the key is. So you're working on trying to develop like relative pitch, I think they call it. I think you can actually get better at kind of picking out what the key is. I think it's kind of important, because not only that, it kind of teaches you tonality. You know what I'm saying? When you're in tune or not in tune. I think the worst thing that ever happened to me, I used to play with that girl Toby, and you know Toby, right? And she was playing, and she started playing at Stevie Ray. We were at Mount Sinai at the Cedar Beach Blues Festival, and she was playing in the acoustic tent. So she was kind of playing acoustic. She had an acoustic with pickups on it, and so she was plugged into an amp. So I'm like, oh, I'll play through a little amp. But she was, I at one point I'm like, what key is she in? You know, nothing was working. And she had the set list, and it was like E. So I'm playing my A harp. I'm like,
It was E flat, right?
no, she never tuned
Tuned by
strings
ear.
properly. They were
okay.
they were all in tune with each other, but not
I'm thinking most of Stevie's stuff is flat, but wow, that's
she
scary.
was in X sharp. I'm like, and I had to stop, and she's like, what's wrong? I said, use a chromatic tuner and tune your guitar to an actual key. I swear to God, I'm like, what the heck?
Small details.
Or if you ever have played with a guitar player that doesn't check his tuning, and all of a sudden all your harps are out of tune. I'm like, what the? They can't
it's not your
all be
harps.
out of tune.
Well, I know, like when I play with Rob Europe, I make him tune to the harp.
Yeah.
I'll say, yeah, use this for an E, and I'll play that, and then he'll tune his guitar relative to that. It sounds a lot better that way, it's definitely that's definitely a big help, I found.
Usually the harp player doesn't have that kind of pull.
Well,
You're the man, Bill. You're the man.
I've heard about bands tuning like a quarter step sharp or flat just to mess with the harp player.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah,
that is awful.
It's truly, that's horrific. But that is a clear signal that they don't want you back at the jam.
Yeah, but I actually stopped going to jams because they're
jams are horrible.
Well, they're advertised as blues jams, but you get there and it's like they're going through the Beatles catalog, and I'm like,
yeah.
Look,
and it's usually not very harp friendly at all.
No, I mean, it's good to challenge yourself and be able to stretch, but that's not what I want. As far as stretching, I would say playing stuff that's like swing stuff that's a little more jazzy. That to me is a little more challenging,
or stretching and like as in learning how to play when you can't hear yourself at all, because a lot of those jams become volume pissing
will-
contests, you know.
I
it's-
will tell you absolutely how to do that. This is, but I also will say I started my band so that I never have to do that again. You know, like that's why I literally started a band. I said I'm either going to play with guys the way I want, or I'm just going to stay home and watch TV. Like it's just better. but wear one foam earplug. You don't have to wear two. If you wear
I've done that.
foam
I do that.
earplug,
It works.
I don't care for it.
yeah.
I feel like
Oh
I
no,
lose
I
a
don't
lot of
like it. I
dynamic.
hate it. I hate
Yeah,
it.
I don't like it.
But you can always hear yourself acoustically in your head then. You know? So like, you know, and then you get through the other ear, you get a little bit of what you sound like through the amp, even though it's completely drowned out by the other people at the jam or whatever. But at least you get the one, like what is that? Through conduction, like
Yeah, no, I
direct
got you.
sound waves coming through your head. That will but it is an annoying thing to do, to have that, you know. And sometimes it makes me feel like my sinuses are clogged or something like that. Like I get like this weird kind of sinusy feeling when I have that thing in my ear and it's expanding to fill my ear.
Plugging my ears also messes me up vocally for some reason. I don't know why. It's like I just lose the dynamic of it, and it sounds flat, and I start doing things that I shouldn't do. So
that's why
yeah,
I just shout.
I've tried those plugs that have filters too. They don't totally plug your ears. They're like sonic filters.
Yeah.
Those are a little bit better, but you know. But like you said, Bill, you find somebody that plays what you want to play, and I like to think I'm getting closer to that. So
that would literally be the biggest piece of advice I could ever give anybody.
yeah, no, 100%.
Would be like, don't waste your time jamming with people you barely know. Like I know it's funny because like it's a little sad because I'm sure that a lot of us came up in the jam scene, and like that was literally how I learned to play with a band.
Oh yeah,
You know,
well
I
it
would
has
go
something to teach
every
you early
week-
on, but then after a while,
Every week religiously, I would go to Willie Steele's jam and sit in with whoever was there. But he was also batshit crazy, and he was not afraid to yell at people if they weren't like, you know, he could really run it, and his band was very tasteful. So after a while, you know, I guess I earned enough cred that I started to get to play with just the house band and not with whatever cavalcade of jammers they would pull up. but that's the number one thing I could tell new players is don't even bother if the people are not, you know, you can't compete with that, you know, and it just ruins your experience. I don't know. I don't think you don't learn anything. You go there, you drive there, you don't have fun doing it. You know, you come home pissed off. Like, what's the point? You know?
But if you do happen to venture into a jam, most of the time there is no room on the stage for your amplifier. So you wind up, the one reason why it's good to have confidence in your acoustic tone is because they're going to go use the vocal mic.
Yeah, you need to be able to just Rick Estrin it or Sonny Boy it.
Yeah,
you know?
but here's another
Absolutely.
thing. The one thing I wanted to talk about, like when you are playing acoustic, and I'm sure Ryan knows this, but I'm sure when he steps up to the mic to play off the mic, because it's either when you have your sound set for that vocal mic that you're going to play harp through, it's either you have it set for cupping it fully, or you have it, what I like to do, I don't cup the vocal mic when if I play acoustic. A lot of times I notice it's a pretty cool thing to just break it down and do that in a couple songs, because people after a while get tuned into like hearing your amplified sound all night. And I mean, I don't care how good you are, you can do backflips. You kind of lose, you know, people kind of become accustomed, you know, kind of numbed out to it. So you break it down and step up to the vocal
change
mic
up
and change it up and play and use your hand technique.
Can you guys Scotty and Ryan and Bill, could you guys give some pointers on when you play acoustic like that with a standing mic, some technique pointers? I don't do it very often. I'm trying to do it a little bit more, but like how do you angle to the mic to get, you know, so it picks up those nuances? Is there any kind of technique to that is helpful? I mean, it's kind of trial and error for me right now, but
I would say one thing real quick, and it's kind of tough to do. If you have a sound man who's not familiar with you, most sound men, when they know there's a harp player in the house, they're like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
We're usually our own sound men so far. So
yeah. So one trick that I found, especially I use a 58 beta that I
Mhm.
also sing through, but I
Mhm.
set it hot. I set the gain hot on the mic. And
Okay.
then too crazy with the treble. I like to bump the bass up a little bit and a little bit on the mid, but keep the treble at unity. One thing I found is when you set the gain hot on the mic, when you have to remember that when you sing into it, you got to back you
I was going to
know,
say you have to be mindful
back
when you're
off the
singing
mic.
through it. Right.
Sing through the mic, but keep maybe 2 or 3 inches off the mic. But when you come up to it to cup it, it really kind of
Get right. Okay.
it really allows your cupping technique to come through. Because I've tried to do it when the mic isn't hot enough and it just falls totally flat.
It gets
So,
lost. Yeah. Oh, that's a really great tip. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Scotty. What do you mean the mic being hot enough? What do you do with the settings to make it hot?
on the PA, usually for each channel for a vocal mic, there's either a sensitivity level. In other words, you have volume for your mic, and then you have usually a master volume that controls the level for all of the mics and inputs, keyboards. Our keyboard player goes through an amp and through the house. What you do is there's usually a sensitivity level is one of the settings on that channel that you're using. And that sensitivity adjusts the gain of the mic. In other words, the signal from that mic, it increases it. You got to be careful. And
It
you
might
have
even
to be,
say gain.
what?
It might actually say gain
It
also.
does say
gain or sensitivity. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on who makes the PA. Like Mackie, I think, is gain, but you also have to be. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh, you got to be cautious about when, like, a lot of times in the one, and I'm not always the front man, so it's to my advantage because I'll try to get the PA to where I can just hear like a little bit of the leakage from one of the speakers, because you got to be careful with monitors that are on the floor, especially when you set your mic a little hot. So what I mean by hot is that the gain is turned up a little bit more on the sensitivity on the mic.
You
It's
have to
just,
watch for feedback though with that too, don't you? The gain.
It depends on how the setup is in the room. Yes, sometimes that's an
Yes.
issue. But
Yeah.
I do the same thing that you do. And it might have been you who told me to do it. I'm not sure. But I set my vocal mic up pretty loud. So
Right.
that way when I go to play, when I go to play acoustically, I can play far back enough that I can open my hands and not hit the mic.
right.
I can cup my hands and have it sound really muffled if I want, or then I can just hold it like this and then I can just let it go into the mic. But I also but I have to remember I have to be at least this far away when I sing. I don't
Yeah.
want to eat the mic.
Right.
It'll sound
It depends on how you
it'll
sing,
sound a
too,
little
and
distorted
your
if I
style
go
is,
right
yeah.
on. Yeah, like I don't have a super strong voice. And if I'm playing and singing all night, by the end of the set, especially by the end of the second set, like my voice isn't as strong as it was, and my playing's not as strong as it was. And then
But then you can come in a
I
little closer.
advance my body towards the mic more, So I definitely set
Great
the
tips,
vocal
man.
mic
Great
up
tips.
pretty hot.
Mhm.
But it does take practice to not eat the mic the first couple times you do it.
Right.
You have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
And especially if someone else you don't know is like, especially someone else comes up and is like, oh, can I jam with you? Can I sing with you or whatever? You let them up. You got to let them know the vocal mic is hot. Keep the distance of your hand, in between there. Don't jump up, because a lot of people that sing like to sing right up on top of the mic.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though, and especially it's funny, I find that the people that jam that want to have the mic right up there in their face, those are the people that can sing 3 feet away from the mic because they have a much stronger voice than I do.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, it's funny. I don't know how it works, but I keep the vocal mic very loud so that I
Yep.
don't have to work too hard.
Right. Yep. Plus the subtleties of using your hands.
Yeah.
To me, it gets lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the reason to do it, is to hear those things. That's why I was wondering what your strategy was. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Well, listen, it's about 8:28, so it's going to cut us off at 8:30. So I wanted to say, first of all, thank you to all of you for coming by and being part of this. Did you guys all have fun?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Very
So
nice.
we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do this
Thank you.
every month. Oh, somebody's joining now as we sign off. He can come in. He can hear the goodbyes. But we're gonna do this every month. It's gonna be the third week of the month. And for now, I think it's gonna be on Tuesdays, and we might move to Wednesdays. We're gonna see how it goes. Diane and I are trying to figure that out schedule-wise. But the one coming up in November is gonna be a good 10 or 15 basic licks in first position to get you started with playing first position blues for those of you that are good cross harp players but don't really know a lot about first position yet. And then in December we have Ken Korb, who is a crazy good acoustic old-timey country blues harp player who's going to do train patterns and chugging patterns and train rhythms. Okay,
Sounds
guys.
awesome. Thank you so much.
That's great. Yep. Thanks,
Thank
Scotty.
you
That was
all.
great.
Thank you all
Bill.
for coming.
Anybody else have
and-
anything last to say before he
Thank
cuts us off?
I'm sorry.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Scott.
Good night.
Oh, thank you. And Cliff, good, best
Night.
of luck with your treatments too. Love you,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good seeing everybody.
Have a
Thanks,
great night,
everybody.
everyone.
Stay in
Hey,
touch.
hey, Bill,
Yes,
did you record this? Because I got here like in the last 10 minutes.
it does. It does. And I don't know how to pull it down off the cloud yet, but I will. We're going to make it available as
Cool.
soon as I know how. Okay.
Nice to see you for a little bit anyway. And,
It is.
and
It
all
is.
folks, nice
Yep.
to see you.
Hey, Brent,
And,
how are you? You're
I'm doing
muted,
good.
I guess.
Doing good.
All right. So yeah,
Good,
we're
thank you.
signing off, guys. So I
I don't
will
know.
see
Bye,
you guys
guys.
next
Practice,
time.
Night,
Thanks
everybody.
again,
Have a great
Scott.
night.
Practice,
everybody.
practice.
Bye bye.
Have a next one.
Thank you, virtuosos.
Take it easy.